thank you so much for joining. And at this moment, also, I'm going live on TikTok. I'm not very familiar with TikTok, but I'm just full. I just try it because I see a lot of conversation going on there. For me, it's as much as possible. Let's have these conversations that say, hey, how do we rebuild our country? What do we do to get things going? And so, yeah, we're live. As we wait for our guests to come in, let's keep on the conversation going. After the first 30 minutes, we'll be bringing on some of us that would love to be on Zoom to come join on Zoom and send in those messages, and let's have them going. I'm still waiting for Kenneth Okonkwo, for the guest of today, to join us in. Hello, everyone. Ibiale Janet, welcome and thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. We will be having our conversation today, and today's conversation is on nation building and the way forward. It is one thing for us to say that, oh no, things are not going to work, things won't work this way. It's another thing for us to actually say, will we make it work? Before the people who are destroying Nigeria, come on, people, they don't have two heads. The only thing they have is audacity and also consistency in the fact that they never give up. No matter how many times they fail, they wait and they come back. And so if that's their secret, what stops us also for being audacious in the kind of things that we dream about, we want, and also insisting that if we go down, we simply stand up. Come on, bring on the failure. I mean, who failure kill? You fail, you stand up, you keep going. It's not the one that you fail and then you're like, oh no, things are not going to work, things are not going to do this. It's not, that is not usually the way to go. Hello, everyone on YouTube. If you can see him, just give a thumbs up. Let's know that, yes, indeed, that you can see Kenneth Okonkwo. He has graciously agreed to join us today. And I must say thank you so much. I just butted in and asked you, please be on the show. And you were so gracious and you accepted to be on this. We'll dive right in, eh? You know that this is the part where they do all of that reading of the profile. Your profile, go feel read for here. If we say we want ahead, so we are sure everybody know, but let's not to assume, Sha. Just introduce yourself to us and we just dive right in.
Yes, I am Kenneth Okonkwo, a lawyer, a columnist, and a public affairs analyst. That's just what I am.
Absolutely. And many more in between, but he's humble to just keep it short and to the point. So, my brother, I'm going to start this way. Nigeria is at a place where there are a lot of people that haven't seen it this way. There's a generation of Nigeria that haven't seen Nigeria this bad. And I don't know whether Nigeria has ever been this bad. As a child, I can remember the structural adjustment program during Babangida, how tough it was. I was a child then. Now I'm an adult. We are adults. Some people think that there's no hope at all for Nigeria. Do you believe in that school of thought, or do you believe that there's hope if we do something about what's happening?
Well, first and foremost, I want to agree with you that no generation in Nigeria has ever seen it this bad. Because there is no time in Nigeria we have ever suffered unavailability and unaffordability. There is no time in Nigerian history that Nigerians have ever suffered unavailability and unaffordability. There's no time we have suffered that we cannot afford something, and even that thing we cannot afford is not even available. Take the issue of fuel. Fuel has never costed 1,200 naira officially per liter. And in the olden days, this is the money, the highest you can get it in black market. Meaning, even if the government does not have fuel, if you have up to that amount, you'll be able to afford it in the black market. But unfortunately today, fuel is 1,000 and something, and yet it's not affordable, and yet it's not available. Let's take the issue of electricity. I don't have light now. That is why I am outside enjoying the light God gave me free of charge, enjoying the breeze. So I don't need to use air conditioner because Tinubu's minister said we should even stop using our refrigerator as a way to manage the issue of lack of light. So electricity again, the tariff is going up, yet it is not available. So there's no time in the Nigerian history that it has been this bad. And I pray that there will never be a time again in Nigerian history that it will be this bad. And the reason it got to this level is because we have people who are hypocrites that are in power. There is no nation that will have it green all the time because life is about ups and downs. But you would have good leaders. When they are telling you to make sacrifice, you will see them making sacrifice with you. So if we had leaders, for instance, that are making sacrifice when they are telling us to make sacrifice, we won't have it this bad. Because what is making it unavailable and unaffordable is that we have leaders who are taking all the money, using it for themselves. And then that corruption and that incompetence, they want to make the people to pay the price for all of it. In other words, they are telling us they've removed subsidy. And they told us the reason they wanted to remove subsidies to use the money for the people. Yet, they remove the subsidy and they are using the money for themselves and taxing the people the more. They are taxing us more in electricity, taxing us more even in VAT. Everything this government is bringing to National Assembly is to tax the people more. So what happened is that they are transferring the burden of all their corruption and incompetence to the people while bearing none of it. That's why the president can buy private jet for himself when the people can no longer afford keke. And he can buy beast, as in the car he's using, almost 1 billion naira, when the people can no longer afford transport to go to work. The cost of his plane is about 150 billion naira. That's why he can budget 21 billion naira to complete the house of the VP. When the people are buying rice for 100,000 naira a bag. That's why he can give 20 billion naira for the house of his chief of staff. When the people cannot afford the cost of cement to even build their own boys' quarter. That is why he can give billions of naira to the wife, the first lady, an unelected office, while children are dying of hunger and hardship, and they are protesting. That is why he can tell you that his reforms are working, because he himself and his family are insulated from it. He himself and his workers and the politicians who have become his accomplices in the National Assembly and everywhere, they are insulated from it. So he cannot have the guts to tell you it is working. When in a week you have more than 5 national grid collapses, yet his reform is working. When, as you can see, 50% of our hospitals are collapsing, yet his reforms are working. And it's a shame that I even saw somebody from National Assembly come on national television to begin to defend the government, when the National Assembly ought to be the check and balance that we have. So this government knows how to settle the people that he needs to make sure they don't defend the people. So what happened is that the people are now being the people bearing the burdens alone, while the government is busy enjoying. And that's why they can tell you with all the punishment that their reform is working.
How can people hold the National Assembly members more accountable?
What happened is that every executive, because the only way the legislature can be in the pocket of the executive is through corruption. That's the only way. So if you remove corruption now, you will see that the legislature will hold the executive to account. How can a country have a ministry? They have only one product, and that product has a ministry, and the legislature, right in front of them, everything that is done in that ministry is hidden in mystery. Nigerians do not know about it, and they cannot even bring those people to account. No transparency, no accountability. If Tinubu is the minister of petroleum, he cannot be a judge in his own cause. He cannot indict himself. I cannot go to court and sue him for criminal offense and sue his person. He's enjoying immunity from me. But he's not enjoying immunity from my representative. And I agree that that is the right thing to do. I voted for my representative to hold Tinubu accountable. And is my representative doing it? No. So what I am saying is that we should be very careful about the people we elect into the legislature. Look at what's happening in the houses of assembly.
Mm-hmm.
In Nigeria, I saw houses of assembly voting against itself, that they want to remain financial slaves to the governors. In my eyes, that day, I opened my mouth and said, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I was shouting, I can't believe it throughout the whole day. And why are they in the pocket of the governors? Corruption. Nothing else. Aisha, have you ever sat down to think, how can 469 people be defeated by only one man? It is not by accident that the legislature, there are 469, and the executive is only one person. So even if it is physical fight, is there any way he stands a chance? So you can see what corruption does.
Yeah, so that's where the Ghana must go. This thing comes into it. The person that has the money is actually the one that is now controlling everything. But
Ironically,
yeah.
the executive does not have the money.
Oh yeah, which
the
is also
executive shares the money according to the will of the legislature. I have told you that the reason is because when the executive is sharing the money, executive will leave them to eat as they want. So they will not close their eyes in turn to the executive eating as he wants. That's what is going on. The executive is simply sitting down to do the will of the legislature. That's democracy. But once there is corruption, they will be doing the will of the executive.
Like they always say, they say that if you're not Nigerian and someone explains Nigeria to you and you understood what they explained to you, that means they didn't explain very well. And so most like that's what happens. Like when you talk about the fact that where the state houses of assembly were actually voting against themselves to have financial autonomy, it's something that just beats the mind. But at the same time also, I will say, is it not also hypocritical or false, right? When we sit down and say these things, but we somehow don't really push and put ourselves to run for office. So like when we say, oh, the people voted to the National Assembly, is it not part of what they have that will vote? Because most of us, we're running away from politics. Most of us don't want to, run for office. And I do understand the fact that people don't want to use their own money. And then the people also don't want to donate to people's campaign. They want people that will use their own money to come out. So at the end of the day, we're just sitting down here, actually not doing the work. But these people who are destroying the country, we must give it to them that they're actually doing a whole lot of work that we have refused to do.
Well, Aisha, you have just indicted yourself.
Yeah.
Because you refuse to even be a member of a political party.
I'm talking to myself too. That's why I say we. Me, I'm a copy. I know that.
Good. At least I am a member of a political party.
Yes.
And you now know why I said no. I also thought about that because I am not crazily interested in power. Now, but I said, how then can you change the system if you are not a member of a political party? Yeah. And I said, even when you're campaigning, in the election day, you will not even see the name or the picture of your candidate. It might just be that of the political party. That was why in 2023, even when I was reluctant being a member of a political party, I saw the futility in fighting without having a political party.
Yeah.
And then I encouraged every other person. You can see that I told you that part of the reason I disagreed with some of my leaders is if you have your own support group, and the law says you can only do politics under a political party, why don't you bring all your support and consolidate the political party? I mean, if they are your followers, for instance, when you are leaving to another party, you take your followers, unless they are not genuine followers of yours. But as long as you are in a party, you have to bring all your resources to consolidate that party, because no matter how powerful that organization is, it cannot function as a political party unless it is registered party. So I agree with you. And the first person I'm going to plead with is an Aisha to join a political party. And I'm present. You can imagine
And
if we have 10
I will tell
Aishas.
you,
You
I
know,
will
you
tell
can
you,
imagine if we have
Daniel.
10 Aishas in the National Assembly. You can imagine.
Daniel. So Daniel Inandi totally agrees with you. And he said that, Aisha, you just indicted yourself. I know. And I will tell you, see, for me, I take full responsibility for that. And I feel sometimes I sit myself down, I say, look, it's so hypocritical. You're talking about changing the people who are in office, destroying the country, but you don't want to be in a political party. You don't want to run for office. You don't want to do. Who are these people that are going to come on from everywhere and get it and get these things changed? And for me, I speak from a very selfish point of view. And I accept that. I don't even need anybody to tell me how selfish it is. I'm somebody who I love my freedom. I love my mouth. I love to travel the way I want to travel. Sometimes I'll leave the country, spend 2 months outside, come back, do what I want to do. But you are in an office, you can't do that. I love the way that I can use my mouth and say anything. There are certain things I will say in my capacity as an individual that as a public office holder, I will not be able to say it. And let me give you an example. For example, up to today, when they're playing the national anthem, I don't stand up. Worst case scenario, I walk out of the room. I'm not going to participate in that. But if I'm a public office holder, whether I'm an elected, I'm representing people, I can't do that. So I know from that point. But like you rightly said, we need to get to a place where people become involved in political parties. And if we want that change, every one of us Nigerians, we need to be in those political parties. But again, the political parties that you think they will do the thing, they will stain your white. And most people are running away from their whites being stained. And for me, I'm like, it should be an ideology. I don't want to enter a political party, then tomorrow I'm moving to another one, because how does one negotiate all of this?
All right. Now, you can look at the cup as half full or half empty. You can look at your situation as if I get into politics, they can stain my white, or I can wash their dirty cloth. You see, those people are able to win because you are not in politics. I am not saying everybody should be in power, but I'm advising everybody should be in politics, because democracy is the government of the people. So everybody should be in politics. If you're a member of a political party, that does not mean you will struggle for power. That does not mean you will. But what it means is that you have the right now, as the member of political party, to decide what goes on in the political party. As you are like that in Aisha, you knew what you did in 2023. Yet some group of people, they had the guts to say Aisha did this about the party. And you cannot even have the right to say you want to vote them out because you're not a member of that party. So what I am preaching is we must all determine to be in politics. That does not mean that all of us will be in power at the same time. So we as a people must rise up to enforce the law by resisting the evil ones and overcoming them. That's what I believe. And if you ask me, where did I learn some of these things from? Shehu Sani said, Tinubu is the father of protest. And I am saying that Aisha is the mother of protest. So if you say, where did I learn it from? I say from Tinubu and from Aisha.
As in goes, don't wait for anyone to be doing Mr. Nice person or gentleman. They know they do
You know,
gentleman for motor park. Oh. They break
now
bottle.
I
Carry
I
bottle,
agree with
break
you.
am too.
I agree with you. Somebody somebody annoyed me one day, and when I did my own, somebody came to me and said, that person, he thought you are a gentleman. I say I'm a gentleman, but the guy thought I'm a quiet man. I said I'm not a quiet man, but I'm a gentleman.
And
So
especially, I always say to people, every one of us get bed for psychiatric hospital. Now, who are occupying? Oh, we they send and go there. So some people think they have monopoly to behave anyhow, and they'll just come in and rush things in a way.
good. How
I do.
can you?
Yeah,
Okay, now,
go ahead.
Aisha,
Mm.
how can a man tell you even beforehand that power is not served a la carte? You fight for it, you grab it at all costs, you snatch it, and you run away with it. And then you're waiting for him to do that so that you go to court. No. My advice is that we should prepare ourselves to ensure that he does not grab it, he does not snatch it, he does not run away with it. If a man who, for instance, did not win election will be so bold to go and steal it, then people who won election should be bolder to defend that victory. That's my own belief.
Absolutely, as in match craze for craze. I did a video earlier today, which is going to go out, I think, around 9 or something like that. One of the things I said in that video was the fact that INEC is not the problem. The people in INEC are the problem. Police in its name institution is not the problem. The people in it are the problem. Judiciary is also not the problem. The people in it. So if those people are running mad, we also must run mad with them to ensure that whatever nonsense they are planning on doing, they don't get up to do it. Most of the people that are used, if people are being used to perpetuate violence, we must also stand and use people to stop the violence and ensure that people are safe to be able to vote, the way that they would like to vote. In the meantime, we are being joined in by people who are joining us on Zoom. Some of them would have questions. Please, let's keep it simple as we go on. If you sent an email requesting for the Zoom link, it has been sent to you. Please kindly go ahead and check your email. We have Isaac Olorunishola. Whether it's Shola or Sola, please, I'm sorry if I didn't get that well. Isaac Olorunisola. I hope I got that. But when you come in, you will give it to us. But to say something, there was something that you mentioned earlier, and I don't want us to forget to move away quickly from that, which is on the issue of political party and the fact that every one of us, we must do politics. Staying away and say politics is dirty. They are dirty in our lives, our everything, even our generation unborn. Our descendants are being dirtied before its hand. We can be in political, and as I'm speaking, I'm also speaking to myself. I'm one of those culprits who has refused to actually do the needful and be part of this thing. We can join political parties, and like you said, I've been noting a lot of things that you've been saying, putting that we can't all, we must be in politics, not necessarily that all of us can be in power. You can be there to be a delegate. Ensure that when it comes to the time where they are voting people that are going to represent a party, that your vote is there, that you are not bought by anyone. What we've done over time is that we've allowed people who don't have second jobs to be the ones to be in political parties. So for them, every 4 years, that's their only source of livelihood. When you try to take it away, they will fight you. You now, Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo, you have so many things out there you're doing. Politics is the one you're doing because, okay, this is a responsibility I need to take on. It's not your source of livelihood. So anybody do anyhow, you can easily say, I beg, I'm leaving, I'm going another. But they can't, because that's where they fit for. So we must ensure people with second jobs get into party, be a delegate, be even if it's to watch out for the finances and ensure that accountability and transparency is kept, that nobody on your watch has to treat party money as personal money and all of that. These are also some of the things that we can also do. In the meantime, before I bring on Isaac, I would just like to say to you, Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo, what about electoral reform? Where do we go on that one?
You see, that's why I always talk about the legislature. In all honesty, we had enough laws that would have given us free and fair election. But the judiciary has destroyed those laws. I don't know where the judiciary got the law, where they say INEC has a discretion whether to transmit result electronically or not. This was an invention that INEC brought into existence, the IREV. And then the first thing politicians said is that it's not part of the law. INEC fought to make it part of the law. And the court again now went and said, no, INEC is not compelled to do what INEC itself fought to become law. INEC wrote its own guidelines and regulations, which are part of our law, making it compulsory, using the word shall. The law making it compulsory cannot even collate with only manually collated results. You must compare those things with electronically transmitted results from the polling unit before you can declare results. Yet Mahmoud was declaring results without any electronically collated result. Mahmoud that boasted that on the day I will be talking, you will see TV on top of my head. Every result I'll be reading, you'll be seeing it on TV for you to see that it was transparent. Mahmoud, where is the TV? Where is the electronically transmitted result? Till today, polling unit by polling unit result was not available. All of us watched the American election. As it was coming in, one by one, the whole world was seeing it. With how tense the election was, nobody died. No one single human being was injured. Within 24 hours, the winner has emerged. And the whole world believed, as flawed as this winner is, the incumbent could not use the system to overrule the decision of the people. That's democracy. If the people chooses that an adulterer who is a convicted felon will govern them, so be it. If the law allows it, that is rule of law. That is democracy. But in Nigeria, till date, the election results, polling unit by polling unit, has not been tendered by INEC in any court. Yet court will tell you that it is the duty of the petitioner, that it is the duty of the petitioner to come to court to prove that he won the election in 176,000 polling units, which result INEC has even refused to give him to tender in court. So it is really a shame. And there is no way we can do free and fair election with such position adopted by the courts. So now the duty is for the legislature to now put guardrails to those laws that they have made to ensure that the judiciary does not give it a wrong interpretation. All those places the judiciary have used their own methods to rule what they don't know. The legislature should now use those things to amend the Electoral Act to now make those things bulletproof. Because we are now in a situation where we can no longer guarantee the interpretative ability of the court. You know, the difference between law and rule of law is that law is the noun, is simply the body of rules. The rule of law is the efficient implementation and enforcement of those rules. So judgment can pass the test of legality, but until it passes the test of legitimacy, it cannot be rule of law. Because rule of law means the efficient and effective implementation and enforcement of the law as it is. So we are simply, the court is simply passing judgment that is passing the test of legality. But until they pass justice, they will never pass the test of legitimacy.
So today it's a lot of not just only learning, but a lot of quotable quotes. I'll be writing my pages through. Let me not hog the mic all to myself. Isaac, please kindly go ahead and unmute yourself and let's have your comment or your questions to our guest today.
I do appreciate Madam Aisha for our relentless contribution to see that things are really working well. Well, we can't leave everything on our own. We need to join hand with those people that really wishes Nigerian good. Oh, of course. I have a business in Nigeria and I cry foul every time. That's how would these people survive? If I look at my own side, I'm not boasting. I can feed myself, feed my family. But what about other people? If we cannot think in macro settings, I don't know where we're going. My question is this: what can we do to sensitize people in this coming election? We've gotten it wrong this time around. I'm not going to lie to you. And people are feeling it. You don't have to tell them. They are feeling it. Then maybe when I talk to my friends, I said maybe they will learn. But I'm not too sure. But what can we do? Because in my little community where I come from in back home, I mean, I don't know why they listen sometimes when I say, oh, let's do it this way. Stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Why can't we try other people? The way we bring these people in, let's try them. If they fail, we can always use the same system to kick them out. What my friend used to tell me, he said, when normality have become abnormal in a situation, in an insane situation, what do we do to correct the situation? This is the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria.
Okay.
Please, what should we be doing to sensitize people that this is eating hard on everyone? No, we don't need to tell them. But if you see what is going on in the recent election, that is maybe recently, I'm not really campaign. I'm non-partisan to anything. But one thing that I know is a truth is truth, even if only one person is saying it. And what is bad, even if 99% people are doing it. Please help me out. I'm lost on the country called Nigeria. Thank you. You can see I'm at work.
Yeah, thank you so much,
I'm
Mr.
in
Isaac,
hospital, so thank you so much.
for joining in. Thank you. I will come to our guest, Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo. You hear the question, what can we do to sensitize people in this coming election?
Thank goodness that everybody is feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain point, because I was trained as an administrator and I'm an expert in it. One day they called us in class and they told us, do you know why we are training you in management? Then they told us, if everything functions peacefully and goes as it's planned, nobody will come and hire you.
Yeah.
Because in that instance, even a fool can manage. But you are being trained to be able to manage crisis. That is why when crisis is coming to a person or an organization, I can sense it from 1,000 kilometers. And I will start shouting. A lot of people may not know what I'm saying. But because I am trained, I will see all the indices, behaviorally, structurally. And I will know, and I'll make a forecast. And most times I'm correct. When I start shouting, a lot of people say, oh, he's campaigning for violence. Oh, he's not patient. Oh, at the end of the day, that thing I'm shouting against will catch up with the system. So what we need to do as a human being, I am not fixated in my life because democracy is not about the people owing any loyalty to the president or any politician or any political party. It is about the people owing loyalty to the Constitution. The greatest thing that will happen to us is to be fixated about any politician or any political party. We must, first of all, liberate ourselves and open our minds and be futuristic in whatever we're doing. We do not have that privilege of time to say we want to continue doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Like what Isaac said that would be stupidity. As a matter of fact, He just was trying to be lenient because that ought to be insanity. So what I am saying is that we must learn. Do you know what I'm looking for? In all honesty, I am now looking for people who are knowledgeable, who have character, but who don't have experience as politicians in Nigeria, as in who have not governed in any political capacity. That's what I'm looking for. Knowledge, character, but not experience, as in you have already been in the system. You know why? They have perfected in the idea of cunning, craftiness, incompetence, and corruption. I am telling you, go to Ukraine. There was no history that the Zelensky was ever in that politics. Today, he's fighting a superpower and yet supplying food to poor countries in Africa. What a leader. Fighting a superpower and still producing enough grains that he was supporting food to Africa, including Nigeria. But he was never a governor. He was an actor, a comedian for that matter. So what I'm looking for
should we vote you now? Should we carry you and put you? Should we vote you? Because you are not talking for an actor like you others that have been there should come. And so should we carry you and put you? Are you going to do the work, or you will get there and then you become like the other ones, or even worse?
Aisha, anybody who wants me to go there would have to convince me that if they vote for me, when I am in the forefront, because I will be in the forefront, they will all follow me and we will fight for the mandate. If you think you are voting for me and you're not ready to follow me to fight for the mandate, don't waste your time. These people are criminals. I want us to fight. Is it not a shame to 200 million persons that one person, 469 persons, check all the members of the House of Assembly and all the government, all the politicians, they might not be up to 5,000. And then 200 million persons cannot contain them. It's a shame on us. So I am not that kind of person that is so crazy for power. When people want me to lead them, I am the one who will give them condition. And the condition is, I will be in the forefront for any fight, but all of us must come out to fight it. I can't fight it alone. If you saw what I kept saying that the leader must be in the forefront. Because if you're not in the forefront, the people that you're fighting against will easily say that we want to cry more than the bereaved, and that the person is not supporting what we are doing. And that collapses whatever you're doing. So you cannot fight on behalf of a leader if he himself is not fighting. Because he can throw you under the bus. When you go to fight, casualties come. Now, if the leader has not identified openly with the fight, when the first casualty comes, he says, did I not tell you? I told you that's why I don't want to choose this method. My dear, there is no war you will go to that you will not find casualties. So a leader should be in front. If you don't believe it, some of my people in the Southeast, they ignorantly want to give the excuse of MK Abiola. And that was how MK Abiola fought. But they ignorantly did not notice that what MK Abiola fought and died for was what made the whole Nigeria to say that the presidency must come from the Southwest in 1999. So if you're not willing to fight, you're coward enough to be giving excuse about a man who fought for his own people, and the people are getting the benefit now because of the sacrifice he made. If you're not willing to make that sacrifice, step aside. Forever I will maintain it.
There was something that I think Isaac had talked about when he talked about taking Nigeria, Nigerians, just taking them to another country, even if it's for 24 hours, bring them back so that they understand what it is, the barest minimum they should be asking for, rather than always justifying whatever kind of hardship that is given to them. And I believe every Nigerian, the first time that you go out of Nigeria, that's one of the things that you really come across, and you just have that feeling of, oh my goodness, if only Nigeria will do better than it is doing now. But he did ask, what are the things that we can do? And I think for me, and I think I'll still get back to you on that particular question, to really say, how do we make the people understand what is going on? We are also at fault. Most of us play God and play government in people's lives. And so because we play God and play government, they don't see any reason why they should vote right, why they should hold anybody accountable. Because at the end of the day, their school fees, their children's school fees will be paid by you. How do we get people to understand relationship between governance and their lives, and then get in? But most importantly also, what do we do with religion? Because they are weaponizing religion the same way they've weaponized poverty and also weaponized illiteracy. How do we deal with, I'm not saying people should be religious. I mean, it's a personal thing, but we have religious rulers who are now using bad governance to be able to sell cheap miracle and continue to hold people, down and accountable. I'll give you an example. You come to for Muslims, these religious rulers will tell you that, oh, protest is haram. Don't go out and protest and stuff like that when it suits them. At other times, they are silent. Then you go to when it comes to Christianity, they are telling you, look for your own miracle. Whatever government will favor you, be thinking that national prayers and all of that. How do we tackle all of these things?
Now, you see, I once said that I am convinced now that religion and ethnicity is no longer our problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I said this is that we have voted people based on religion. What we are suffering in Nigeria is not too much church or too much mosque. As a matter of fact, I wish that the church and the mosque should be in every house in Nigeria. What we are suffering from is too much fake church, too much fake pastors, too much fake imams, too much fake mosques. If we had genuine churches and mosques, we will not be having the problem we have in Nigeria. I'll give you an example. In the olden days, the most efficient president known in the ancient world was a prophet of God. His name is Prophet Daniel. He had the knowledge, the skill in arts, in science. And in addition, he was a man of God who had understanding of visions and dreams. Prophet Daniel prayed not less than 3 times a day. Yet it did not stop him from being efficient in his work. Let me tell you something about being close to God. Prayer and closeness to God helps you to be more efficient in your work. There is a place for prayer. It does not stop you from being efficient in your work. It helps you to be efficient. But let me point out, I always point out criminality, immorality, and illegality anywhere it is found, whether in the church or in the mosque. Our problem is hypocrisy, is psychopathy, is corruption, is illegality, it's criminality, and it's incompetence. So please, we should encourage more prayers, because if we have genuine men of God, genuine Christians, genuine Muslims, our problem will be solved.
Okay.
Not less of it.
Oh, okay. So let me quickly address that issue of night vigil and night shift, because for my own understanding of it, I am an employer of labor, and I've come across a lot of people who will leave the office and tell you they are going for one thing or the other. Or some of them, even during interviews, they will tell you, oh, on Wednesdays, we don't come for work. On these days, we don't do this or one thing. The issue of Daniel that you did mention, Daniel did not allow his prayers to affect his job. That's the big difference. A lot of people go on these things and they allow it to affect their jobs. Like I remember tweeting that I said, look, if you are working for me as an employee, you are going to pray. Okay, there was someone who said that, oh, Muslims pray 5 times a day. And I say, you're working for me and you're praying 5 times a day. God knows God is going to be the one to pay your salary. Definitely not me, because you won't be working for me again. So that's where the difference is. It's not, yes, people need to pray more. Leaders that will pray more help. But when you are allowing your prayers have left your private business and it's not affecting the business of others, it is no longer what we will take as saying, oh, this is what people will do. The same thing also when it comes to these churches. You did mention it's we have a lot of fake imams and fake pastors. I totally agree with you on that one. But because of the fact that there is incentive for that fakeness, and that's why you have a lot of these mosques and a lot of these churches all over the place. Everybody wants to get money. I mean, the easiest way to get people's 10% is by opening a church and you have something there. The easiest way that you have people will come and be meeting you to give you sadaqah, give you all sorts of money is by becoming a malam, having your turban and stuff like that. So that's where the difference is. So if you keep your prayers, your everything private, then it doesn't have to affect the national issue that we have. And that was what Daniel was able to do, in spite of the fact that he was someone who was very religious, but at the same time, he was someone also who was able to make his religion his private issues while he was managing the public interest that he was managing. But you will still come, and if you want to add to it, you will add to it. But there are quite a number of people, and I don't want to keep you too long so that we don't get to a place asking you to come and say we overstayed. So Nkiruka, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay.
I think
Aisha, I'm sorry I won't be able to put on my video.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No.
Okay, so I just want to respond to Isaac's question. The first question you got, which had to do with what we could do to prevent at least to have a better 2027 election. And one of the things that that has been going through my mind is the need for a well-organized and coordinated campaign. But then this campaign should be geared at those persons who are at the grassroots, individuals who may or may not even have access to platforms like Twitter and the rest. Now, why am I talking about this group of individuals? We know that when it comes to making sure that, for instance, what Mr. Barrister Kenneth had been saying, people snatching of ballot boxes and all that, that we need to fight for it. The truth is we need to fight for whatever we are doing because nothing comes cheap and free. Now, which individuals are being used, one, and can also be used to combat this issue of making sure that our elections, our votes now count. And I believe it's these individuals, but then the right messages need to get to them. But then we know that it wouldn't come cheap. It's not just cheap. Nigeria is a large country. We are talking of millions of youths, So as a way to also go about this, in the course of raising money, I for one, I know what we passed through during the last election. We stood there under rain, under sun, just to make sure that we voted and that our votes counted, and at the end of the day, nothing. So I feel, when we have plans, it's no longer about a party. I think having a movement that will have it as part of what they will do will be to reach out to these youths, these men, because we know it's not women that they use to snatch ballot boxes, these men that the politicians use. What the group should be looking at is, how do we use these same individuals to ensure that the ills and all the evils we see during elections are not, are checkmated. So that's just what that's my contribution, and something that the team could be looking out. I know many persons will be willing to they'll contribute money once we have a platform, that we can really get things going and running. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that contribution, Nkiruka, and also for joining us today. So for those who are listening on YouTube, currently I will be unable to take in more people to send in the link. We'll listen to those that we have here with us right now. The next person, Ifeyuwa, I will call on you to please kindly unmute yourself and then go ahead and ask your question or give us your comment.
My thing is this, because I'm one of those people, I'm in the United States, yes. But I'm not one of those people who think, oh, we've gotten away from the country can burn. I mean, that's your problem. Nigeria is our country. Now, my thing is this. It's not just about, my question is, what do we do about the 2027 election? Because everywhere is captured. The judiciary is captured. The legislative is captured. Everything is captured. The people who go out on the street to try to protest, you see what happens to them, including children. So it's my thing. Yeah, people are going to go out en masse. They will vote. And even if we stop or maybe try to convert those people who go to snatch the ballot boxes, and maybe they're not doing that, though it's going to be difficult because the hunger is real in the land. My thing is this, because these people tell you to go to court. I mean, go to court. Do you understand? They have it all in there. They know what they are doing. How does Nigeria liberate itself? Because Nigeria is under bondage right now. Trust me. Nigeria needs to liberate itself, but how? How do we liberate ourselves from this stronghold?
Okay.
Right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ifeyuwa. I think that's a question that it's on many people's mind. People are agreeing with you on YouTube that indeed that's the question. How do we liberate ourselves? Because before we go back to our guests, we're taking the rest of us here on Zoom so that we'll hear from everyone. HO, please kindly go ahead and unmute yourself and give us your contribution. And we're fast spent, so if we could just make it brief, and then so that we'll quickly round up today's discussion. Thank you.
All right. Nice to meet you, my lovely sister Aisha. The people we are dealing with, they are monster. They don't care about us. And before I forget, I want to have your permission to collect your phone number from Aisha because we need to talk. So having said that, the people we are dealing with, they don't care about us. They have signed a contract with the devil to ensure the giant of Africa does not come out from the pit they've dug us into. There are only 2 tribes in Nigeria, whether you like it or not. And the 2 tribes, as I define them, is the tribe of the oppressed and the tribe of the oppressors. And as I will always say in this space, my children and I belong to the tribe of the oppressed. And who are my children? My children are any Nigerian from age 60 downward to the unborn child that is lining up to come to Nigeria. And why did I include age 60? because many people at that age have never been given opportunity in their youthful age to use their God-given talent, intelligence to fulfill destiny. A lot of them are still collecting crap to survive. And as far as I'm concerned, by the understanding God has given to me, my children, they are king, they are queen, they are prince and princess. They are smart and they are intelligent. It is the unable environment that they have been given to them that turned them to what they are doing today. And whatever they are doing, which is wrong, they are doing it to survive.
Mm.
And I do not use that to define them. But what is the way forward, children? Since we know we belong to the tribe of the oppressed, because whether you like it or not, in the 6th political zone, we have the oppressors there. In the north, they are there. In the south, they are there. In the west, they are there. In the south, in the north central, and everywhere they are there. So this is not a matter of Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba, Fulani. No. There are few people that form this category. Then to my children that belong to our tribe of oppressed, in the north, they are there. In the south, they are there. Let me digress a little bit and focus on the north. They tell them that education, Western education is haram. And the people that are initiating that language, they collect money from this wicked monster to preach that to us. They say protest is haram. When they wanted to make that statement, before they make it, they collect money. So how are you not lying to the people after collecting bribe? And you say you are preaching the message of Muhammad. And the people that are saying Western education is haram, they send their children to the West to go and get Western education. And when they come, they are the ones that occupy choice office like CBN, all the big federal office. Their children are there. So Northerner, let them stop lying to you. We will work as a broom. And what is a broom? When I was to come, wait, let me round up with this. Okay. When I was to start this journey, I was in my own, and this thing, I got the inspiration that says, pick up a stick or broom, and I pick it up. And he said, sweep. I said, Lord, I can't sweep with it. He said, bend it, and I broke it. He said, imagine you are picking a bunch of broom, and I pick it. He said, sweep, and I said, everywhere will be clean. He said, bend it. I said, Lord, it won't break. He said, then you and your children walk like a bunch of broom and sweep these wicked people out. They said to us, politics is a dirty game. But no, politics itself is not a dirty game. It is the politicians that are practicing it that are dirty. Why did they say politics is a dirty game? The Bible says, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people suffer. And as long as they define politics to the good people, that politics is a dirty game, they won't want to come into politics because they don't want to stain their garment. But you see, all ye good people of Nigeria, home and abroad, I am calling upon you. It is time you rise up because you have the ability. Come 2027, from councillor to presidency, me, Mama Hecho, is saying my children will take over. They say it is Godfather that put people into power. But this time around, the battle will be between the Godfather And me, Mama H.O., the godmother, where Mama stand, Papa not this, do nothing. Jagaba, hear me, I hear me well. You don't take over everywhere. But let me tell you, he that is on the throne has heard the cry of my children. He that is on the throne has heard, has seen their suffering. He has seen their pain. He's coming down using us and people like Okonkwo and people like Aisha and people like Chowore and people like Obi and others that believe that it is time for Nigeria to rise up from the shackle of poverty and lack and take
Thank
a
you,
rightful seat
Madam.
in the
Thank you
seat
so
of
much.
nation. Thank you,
Thank
my
you
big
so
brother
much.
Okonkwo. I
Yeah,
am
thank you.
collecting your permission to collect your phone number from Aisha. We need to talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that passionate submission. And I know you're always thinking about solutions to Nigerians' problems and the things that, you know, we all need to do that. And we're really so grateful for that passion that you always bring on. To just quickly round up, I think we have yeah, Alexander hasn't spoken. Onyedika hasn't spoken. Isaac, yeah, he has spoken before, but we'll quickly bring him on also. I think he will be the last person to speak today before we go back to our guest today. So Alexander, if you, oh my, okay, yeah, I thought I couldn't see you anymore. Yeah, go ahead and unmute yourself. And also, I'm trying to see if you would like to start your video. Go ahead and start it. If you are okay not starting your video, that's also okay. So Alexander, you have the floor now. And after you, we'll have Prince Onyedika Chinwuba. So Alexander, please go ahead.
I want to thank God for this opportunity of talking with you. I want to say that I am one of your fans. I love you and I love your stand, and you challenge me so much. Number two, Barrister Okonkwo, I love you, I appreciate you, I love your stand and I love your passion. Again, you challenge me so much. I don't know if I can have your both contacts by my email, through which I got your link to the Zoom. I would love to talk with you. I share one-on-one. I live in Uromi and Benin in Edo State. And there are things I would like to pass across to you for you to know, because you are not just talking because you are a Nigerian. You are not just passionate because you are a Nigerian. Your passion is coming from a divine place. You may know, you may not know, but I want to share some of these things with you. And then collaborate with you, collaborate with Barrister Okonkwo, collaborate with Peter Obi, collaborate with Chowore, collaborate with people who are passionate, because Nigeria will get it right. Nigeria will become the place of righteousness and uprightness on this planet Earth. And everyone, the nations of the earth, will want to come and find out from Nigeria and Nigerians, how did it happen? And I want to see it in my lifetime. Once again, I'm not going to take too much of our time. I want to appreciate you, Aisha. I want to appreciate you, Barrister Okonkwo. I want to appreciate Chowore. I want to appreciate Peter B. I want to appreciate all men and women that are passionate for Nigeria. By the grace of God, by the time we talk on email or your contacts phone, you will know me better one-on-one. I live in Edo State, and I have lived part of my life in Edo State. I know where you come from in Esako, and we'll need to talk one-on-one. So once again, Aisha, we appreciate you. We love you. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you for your kind words. I think we'll go on to our final speaker today, who happened to also be our first speaker today, Mr. Isaac. Go ahead before we bring in our guest for today, Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo.
Thank you, Ms. Ajia. Yusuf. I really want to thank you. Like you said, I'm one of your passionate followers too, and I've been following you all this while, but I wouldn't know. I'll be readily available for anything that we can do in my own little way to make sure. I want my voice to be heard in my own little way so that we are not lost totally. We are already on the verge to collapse. But I will want us, I'm 50 years, so I want to come back home and relax. I've done a little investments that can survive me even without my social security here and all the likes. But still, I'm still putting in my best. I'll be doctor by next year, but that doesn't mean I can still do what I need to do for my country, Nigeria. I hope we will survive, and I believe we will survive. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Isaac, for those words of hope. Indeed, we will survive. Before I go on to Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo, I've seen a few sentiments here that we hear all the time, which is people say that Nigeria is gone. There's nothing to do about Nigeria. So for me, the thing I love about when people say it's gone is that if we do anything, so we'll still be where we are. So nothing is lost. So let's do where we are. At least we can only go up from where we already are. When you fail, that you know you are down, and you decide to fight and do something, you can only go up. You can't begin to come down. So, hey, do it. And even at the end of the day, you don't succeed. You will still be where you were. So at least let us try. Let us not self-defeat ourselves. Better for others to defeat us than for us to self-defeat ourselves. Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo, you've heard a lot of the sentiments that have been put forth and also some of the questions that have been put forth. I will hand over to you now as you take on some of those questions that were put forth.
Well, first of all, I want to thank the speakers for saying nice things about me. I've always said that I'm not a good man. There is only one that is good, and that's God. But I thank God. Yes, I thank God for for the presumption they are giving to me. I always say that I know I am honest because I don't know how to tell lies. Maybe if I know how to tell lies, don't know the planets that our leaders come from. Because when people tell lies unashamed, you begin to wonder. Today, you will hear they are paying subsidy. Tomorrow, they say they are not paying subsidy. Next tomorrow, they say under recovery. Under recovery is simply to tell you they are paying subsidy and using another language. So, dishonesty, lack of transparency, lack of accountability, corruption, incompetence, these are our problems. So, and like they always say, if the good people do not come together, they should not complain when the bad people are governing them. Because they say that the only thing that is required for evil to prevail is for the good ones to keep quiet. So in a democracy, the majority rules. So if the evil ones are able to convince the majority, they will be ruling. And their leadership will be legitimate. I mean, I've seen all over the world. I've seen how evil people were able to manipulate the people and convince them. And they took over the leadership. So these very evil people, they may be fewer in number, but they are more vocal. They are more united. They are more cohesive. Even Jesus Christ, when he was alive, he said we should learn from them, but we should be as innocent as the dove. He said be as wise as serpent, but be as innocent as the dove. What is he telling us? If these few people are cohesive to rule us, we should be much more, we that are in the majority, should be much more cohesive in order to overcome them. So if we can be more vocal than them and more united than them, we will take over because they are fewer than us and they are more evil than us. So God sides the people that are good over the people that are evil. But the only thing is that, like you pointed out, God will not come down to do for us what he has given us power to do. So when we pray to him, we are not praying for him to excuse us from doing our duty. We should be praying for him to draw strength and power. I have that hope that given to us will give way one day, one way or the other, for the real hope that comes from God. And I have that belief that when we come together, the earlier we come together, the shorter our suffering is. We must unite north and south, east and west. We must unite Christians and Muslims. We must unite old and young. We are all suffering this together. We should not allow these evil leaders to use their own evil ways to divide us in order to continue manipulating and intimidating us. It is only when we come together that we will win, and we will come together, and by the grace of God, we will win.
Thank you so much for that. And I think indeed, there's no need for asking for closing remarks. I think you just rounded it up. And that's the word of hope that every one of us must go away with, which is to say, if we come together, we work together, we definitely will win. Yes, sometimes we have our differences. Sometimes we will not agree on issues. The issue is that let's focus on those things that unite us. Bad governance, unemployment, insecurity. We are all united in it because it's affecting all of us. Cost of petrol, cost of food items in the market, food insecurity, all these things are things that unite us. Let's focus on that and get through that. When we get the things that we work and things begin to work very well, then we can come back and look at all our differences and say, hey, you were thinking this way, I was thinking that way. At this moment is to say to Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo, thank you so much for not just only joining us and making this whole today's live with Aisha really insightful and really interesting, but to also help us to keep the Zoom going for the number of times that I was thrown out of it as you were the co-host today. So thank you so much, and God bless you. And once again, happy birthday, and may God bless you abundantly.
Thank you. I want to ask one thing, Aisha.
Yes, sir.
I saw one man say that he loves you. He did not ask the permission whether he can tell a Sharia lady that he loves her.
And he also said he loves you. So he shared the love. I knew you were going to. It's a brotherly love.
Okay. I always ask for permission. Anytime I meet Sharia lady, anything I want to do, I always ask for permission. Please, can I tell you that I love you? before they cut my mouth.
No, they wouldn't. So he was giving a brotherly love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother, for joining and making today's live with Aisha so great.
Yeah. God bless you.
Amen. And you too. And you too. Thank you so much for all of you that joined today. There was a Prince Onyedika. Before we could get to his turn, he had dropped off. So thank you, everyone. Next week, Saturday at 5 p.m., by the grace of God, we will be having another live with Aisha. This time around, another guest, a different guest. So let's watch and see who that guest is. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Thank you once again to our guest, Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo. God bless you.